Hey guys, it's Charlie. Just a quick heads up, on this podcast we have real, honest conversations. And sometimes that means we touch on sensitive subjects. But this is the Overshare Club. Some of it might not be for everyone, so please take care whilst watching or listening. Now let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the Overshare Club. Today's guest unfortunately could not be here, so I thought I would do a little sort of introduction to moi. Because if you've not been here already, then you probably have absolutely no idea who I am. So let's get to know your host. So I'm Charlie. I have a home salon called Overshair Creations, and this is the podcast. This is the Overshare Club. Now, I wanted to create this podcast because when you get talking in the salon, you get talking to clients, you overshare things. The clients overshare things, hairdressers overshare things. And a part of me just thought, what if some of these conversations that I had in the salon, they're not always put out there. And a lot of the time there are conversations that I have with clients that they resonate with other people as well, but they're not a conversation that you sort of share like all over the place. So I kind of wanted to do sort of like a generalised sort of conversation about different things, whether it be funny things, whether it be emotional things, heartwarming things, just any conversation that might be an oversharing topic. But you kind of get to have these conversations and share them out to you guys, because you might be having a conversation or you might resonate with a conversation that I've had. And it's not to say that I'm going to be oversharing the actual conversation I've had with the client. That isn't what this is about. But sort of generalising it a little bit and not naming any names and just sort of putting it out there so that if one of you guys that is watching or listening, you can resonate with something, or you might feel, I'm not alone in this. And this is what I want this podcast to be about. It's just a topic, all types of topics that anyone can listen to. Yes, okay, it's going to be hairdresser speaking to hairdresser, but that's because we hear these oversharing conversations, and I just think it'd be a nice idea to have a platform where these conversations can be had, they can be shared, and for anyone who is watching or listening can kind of feel like, do you know what? I actually really resonate that. I don't feel alone in that. So that's the whole idea behind the podcast. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is only a small setup. I'm in my salon. I've got a new sign. My lovely husband and son's got me this for Mother's Day, so it's a nice new addition. But yeah, that's kind of what this podcast is about. It's nothing too over the top or over fancy or anything like that. I'm going to have different hairdressers coming in, speaking about all different types of topics, hairdressing related, not hairdressing related, oversharing topics and different things. And yeah, that's just kind of what I want this podcast to be about. And hopefully I will get some clients in as well that can also overshare some things, and again, topics that you might resonate with. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. I've got a new do. If you watched my last episode, or if you have followed me over on Overshair Creations, you will see that recently I've shaved my hair off. So completely different look to my last video. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that as well. So March 21st, I decided to shave my hair off. My hair was if you're watching, it was sort of like down my back, bra length sort of thing. It was 16 inches, that's what she measured. And yeah, I've been wanting to shave my hair for years. So I thought my hair was getting too long. It was really annoying me. And I just thought, okay, I'll just cut it off into a bob. But for years, I've just wanted to shave my hair off, just to sort of see how it feels, all that sort of thing, how it looks. So I thought, you know what? Actually, now's the perfect time to just shave it off. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to not only shave my hair off, but I was going to donate my hair to a charity called Little Lady Locks. They're based in Manchester. They're just classed as a small charity, and they make wigs and hair pieces for young people. And they are just an incredible charity. They do not, people don't pay for their services. It's all free of charge, but obviously to run a charity, you have to have donations. So in the process of me shaving my hair off, I wanted to fundraise at the same time. And honestly, the amount of support I had was just unbelievable. I raised over £1,000 and I'm still in complete shock about it. So my target was 500 because that's how much it takes, or that's how much it costs to make a wig. So the fact that now they can make two wigs, plus they can make another hair accessory as well, it's just amazing. So yeah, that is why I have a new look. It's also pink. It's not just the light. I actually do have pink hair as well. That was my son's idea. When I told him that I'm going to be having a buzz cut or shaving my hair off, he just kept saying, "You're going to look like Grandad." Cheers, mate. Thank you. So then I said, I might change the colour of it. And his first input was, well, can you dye it pink? So I thought, yeah, go on then. So buzz cut and pink. That is the new do. So still getting used to it. It feels very, very strange. I did the first school run this morning as well. Did get some second glances like, is that hair? Is that hair? Yes, it's me. I just got a new do. But it's very strange. I can feel the wind on my scalp, but it's lovely waking up in the morning and just looking in the mirror and going, I'm done. I've not got to do anything with my hair. So that's quite a nice feeling. And the fact that I'm not having to pull my hair out of my tops when I'm putting it on. I'm having to move my hair in bed. My husband's not elbowing, like leaning his elbow on my hair on my pillow. I've not got no hairs on my pillow. I'm going to have no hairs in the shower. Like, there's a lot of perks to having a buzz cut. How long I'm going to keep it for? Absolutely no idea. I'm just going to go with the flow. I might let this fade out. I might have it blonde. I might end up shaving it off again, starting afresh. I have absolutely no idea, but I'm going to let everyone come along for the journey with me. So if you do want to follow the journey as well, I will be posting it on the Overshare Club, but I'll also be posting it on my hair page as well. So at Bow Hair Creations, if you do want to follow the journey. So I put some feelers out of what do people want to know about me. So I'm going to answer some of those questions now. So who am I? My name's Charlie. Real name is Charlotte. Some people call me Charlotte. Some people like to call me Bow as well. Bow isn't my name. Bow is just from Bow Hair Creations. I just chose it because it was short for beautiful. That's kind of where the name came from for that. My husband, at the time, we were living in a place called Beaumont Leys when I first started my hair business. So he thought it was short for Beaumont Leys. It was not. So when we moved to Bagworth in Leicestershire, he was like, "You're not going to call it Bag Hair Creations?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Well, Bow Hair Creations, Beaumont Leys." I was like, no, that's not the reason of the name. It is because of, it's just short for beautiful. So yeah, he was quite surprised at that. And that was like genuine. He genuinely thought it was named after the place that we were living in before, bless him. So no, that is not the reason. But I sort of started out a bit backwards in my hairdressing career. So originally, I was actually working in marketing for a design agency. Worked there for 9 years, I think it was. And don't get me wrong, I loved my job. I loved the people that I work with, but sitting behind a desk was getting a bit boring for me. I'm a creative person. I want to be creative with my hands. And when I was in school, I didn't do hairdressing. All of my topics were sort of creative. So I did performing arts, I did graphic design, and then I did photography. So I actually started out in this sort of photography world and had my own, photography business. I was really young at the time and I did a couple of weddings here and there and that sort of thing. But then when I was leaving school, I didn't know what to do with my life. I was like, do I want to go to university? Do I want to go travelling? Do I want to go to work? I had absolutely no idea what to do. So I started working as a photography assistant, and that was, I really enjoyed that job because I got to help out like the model side of things. I got to help out like getting them ready, sort of putting them in position, that sort of thing. And that sort of led me like down the hair and makeup side of thing, and meeting like the makeup artists and the hairstylists. And I thought, and I've got my little photography side hustle thing. Could I put then the hair and makeup into it? So when I left sixth form, I actually carried on and went to college to do media, makeup and hair. And I wasn't actually there for very long. I think I was there for 3 months. Apologies to my mum and dad because they bought me all the kit and I kept it. I did keep my kit and I made good use out of it as well. I loved everything that I did learn in sort of those first 3 months, but at the time I was quite down and depressed. I couldn't function. I could not function being in a learning environment. My head was just all over the place and I thought, it's not the right time. So I came out of that and I went to work at New Look as a sales assistant for about 6 months. Again, wasn't really my thing. So then I actually started working with my mum for a couple of years in catering. So again, nothing to do with hair. But I'd always enjoyed playing with hair. I always enjoyed playing with my sister's hair, friends' hair. And then I ended up getting an apprenticeship in social media, and that's how I got into the design agency and working in marketing. But then 4 or 5 years in, I'd done some travelling as well. I'd gone to Thailand on my own for 3 weeks, but like met a group of people out there. One of the best things I've ever done, and if I can recommend something to any young person, is go and do something on your own that's completely out of your comfort zone. And if you can travel with it, do it. Because for me, even in those couple of years prior, my mental health was sort of here, there and everywhere. And that trip it brought me to life. It was only 3 weeks long, like it wasn't even a long time, but you've got to, when you go somewhere on your own and you're completely thrown out of your comfort zone, you're thrown in with this group of people that you've never met, that are from all over the world, but you can be whoever you want to be. And it sounds so cliche, but I found myself on that trip. I realised who I was. I realised what I liked, what I didn't like, the kind of people that I like, the kind of people that I don't like. I mean, there's not actually that many people that I don't like. I'm pretty good. I tend to get on with everyone. It takes a lot for someone to sort of really ruffle my feathers. I'm the kind of person that is like, that's just the way they are, so that's the way I'm going to take them. And I'm pretty much like that. But if you do me wrong, then yeah, I'm not going to like you. But at the same time, I also don't hold a grudge. So my parents are kind of like, how are you like that? How are you so chill about people? Even my husband's like, I don't know how you can stand being around that person, or how are you friends with this person? And I'm just like, that's just the way that someone is. And if they're like that, but I still get along with them, I'm not going to change who they are. And I don't think you should have to change for anyone. So that's just my take on it anyway. But yeah, to any young person, I really recommend just going out of your comfort zone and going to do something that you've always wanted to do, but you kind of sort of think, oh, I don't know if I should, if I shouldn't. Listen, if you think you should be doing something, go and do it, because you don't know how something is going to impact you or change your life or anything like that unless you do it. I mean, this is the whole podcast as well. I've been wanting to do a podcast for quite some time now. I had no idea how to go about it, do I get guests on, do I just do it myself? And something inside me just thought, you know what, just do it. Do it, see how it turns out. If it turns out great, brilliant. If it doesn't, who cares? You tried. You've got to try something to actually know if it's going to work or not. So yeah, in that process of going on that trip as well, I also met one of my best friends. So you never know who you're going to meet when you try something new either. It can just lead to so many different people, different experiences. And if there's one thing I can suggest, I'm repeating myself, but go and do the thing you're scared to do, because it could change your life. I can't even remember where I was going with that. No, that was it. I was working in a design agency. So yeah, I was there for about 4 or 5 years, and then something that was just my hands. I needed to be creative with my hands. So I thought, okay, what do I like doing? And my dad was like, you've always liked doing hair, so why don't you go and like do hair? And I was like, well, I can't do hair because I don't do hairdressing. So he was like, well, you don't have to do hairdressing, just go and play with some people's hair, go and put it up or whatever. So I thought, all right, okay then. So I got a few friends, a few family members, and just started playing with their hair, just putting styles in the hair. If they were going out for the night, I'd put the hair up. If they were going to a wedding, I'd do the hair for them. And there was something inside me going, you're made to do this. So then I thought, okay, well, where else can I take this? But without having to have hairdressing qualifications, because I didn't have any. So then I looked into hair extensions, and at the time you didn't have to have any qualifications, like hairdressing qualifications, to do hair extensions. So I thought, okay, I'll try my hand at that. So that's what I did. And I did that for a few years, absolutely loved it. But there was still something missing. And I kept being asked time and time again, oh, do you do hair colouring? I'm like, no, don't do hair colouring. Like, box dye. Don't mention box dye now. But at the time, box dye, that's all I knew. And that's all I knew. Well, I didn't know what to do with bleach. I didn't know what to do with colours developer. Like, you got a box dye and whatever's in the box, you read the instructions, that's what you do. That's all I knew about hairdressing. And even like the colours as well, I thought I knew the numbering system for hair colouring because I knew the numbering system for hair extensions. Now, if you only do hair extensions and don't do hair colouring, let me tell you, the numbering system is completely different. So there is no 60 in hair colouring, but there is in hair extensions. So it was completely new to me. But at the time I was 27, I think. I thought, I can't go into hairdressing. I can't go to college. I can't quit my job and go and do college full time. Like, one, I was too old, and they don't have, well, I don't think they had like a full on course for hairdressing for me to go in the daytime. And I didn't want to quit my job. I just thought, like, I'm 27. I can't just quit my job and go and do hairdressing and earn absolutely nothing. And I was too old to be an apprentice, and I thought, oh, I can't do hairdressing. Then my dad ended up finding me an adult hairdressing course, which was 2 evenings a week. So I thought, okay, this could be a shout. So I applied for it. I got in. Best thing I could ever have done, because I absolutely fell in love with doing hair. I loved, well, I'm going to say I loved every aspect of it. That's a lie. There's 2 aspects I did not like doing hairdressing or learning in hairdressing. And bearing in mind, I don't know if it's still the same, but from what I've heard, the curriculum, is that the right word? Curriculum is so outdated. It is so outdated in college. You learn the fundamentals, you learn the basics, but no one has cap highlights anymore. People do have perms. I can't say that people don't. It is coming back in fashion now. I do not provide them. I got all excited about doing perms, and my husband's granny was like, yeah, you can do my perm. I was going, yeah, that's absolutely fine. When I tell you that I wanted to throw my doll's head out the window when I was doing them in college, bearing in mind we've got 13 other people that are doing them as well. And if you've never smelt perm solution, it's like being back in school. And you know when everyone was doing the science experiments, had the Bunsen burners on, and there was that sulfate eggy smell. That's what it was like. And it's disgusting. I can't stand it. It was too fiddly. Maybe if I had another go at it and kept practicing, then yes, I'd probably learn to love it. But I don't really get asked to do perms. I get asked the odd time, and I'm like, no, sorry, but I know some other people that do, so I can recommend you to them. But yeah, perming was just no. And like I say, cap highlights, no, not doing that. But everything else was just, my brain was on fire but a good thing. Like, I just came to light. But I was still doing my old job at this time, full time. No, part time actually. It's when I just returned off maternity leave because I had my son in 2020 during lockdown, those fun times. But actually, all kind of worked out for the better, because even though I was doing the hair styling and the hair extensions before lockdown, obviously I couldn't do it during lockdown, I got to have that break. I got to have my maternity leave from my job. I stopped doing hair during lockdown, and it was after lockdown that I got to do the hair course, and it all just sort of fit in together. Like, I got that time with my family, and then it was almost like starting afresh, starting anew. And in my head I was going, you know what, I'm not meant to be sitting behind a desk. I am meant to be creative with my hands, and just be in a job where I'm more hands-on and talking to people all the time as well. Because after lockdown in my old job, unfortunately, we didn't go back to the office. We started working from home, and yes, working from home had its perks, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure I was suffering with postnatal depression. Didn't know at the time because, well, we weren't seen to. Anyone who had a child through lockdown knows that the services were extremely limited. There was no face-to-face sort of things. It was all over the phone. So I didn't get to see my healthcare visitors, I think I seen them just after Clay was born, and that was it. Everything else was just over the phone, and I actually had quite a hard time after having him for probably the first 9 months of his life, maybe just after. And I remember just ringing my doctor and saying, I don't know what to do. Like, my mind is just going absolutely wild. And bearing in mind, during this time, we just had a baby, we'd just moved house, and we were getting married. Like, we'd done this whole thing in a year. And my doctor said to me, you've done the 3 most stressful things you can ever do in your life in 1 year. She said, no wonder you are feeling like this. But at the same time, I think you are suffering with some sort of postnatal depression. I was like, oh, right, okay then. And it's it's hard to sort of admit, but I really struggled with that bond with my son in sort of like the first 9 months. Like, I couldn't feel, it's like I just felt numb. And for any parent that has gone through this, it's so difficult because it consumes you, it's overwhelming, and you almost become selfish, but not selfish. You don't become selfish on purpose. Like, you don't know what to do with your feelings, with your actions, and you're just kind of you're running on routine. And if that routine for me, if that routine went out the window, it really threw me off. I didn't know what to do with my emotions, and I could just burst out in tears. And like, I didn't really have any idea why I was crying. I'm like, why am I crying? I've just had a baby, like this should be the happiest time of my life. But in my head, I was going insane. And because I was so overwhelmed with everything, when my son would like cry, and he was a crier, he was a crier. And it didn't help that the fact that when he came into the world, everyone was wearing masks. That's what he was used to. So all he's seen was my face, my husband's face, and his brother's, and like a couple of people around us. And then when those masks came off, everyone was like smiling and happy, like, oh, we don't have to wear masks anymore. Oh my God. If someone smiled at Clay, he would have a complete meltdown. Like going shopping, obviously people always come up like, oh, isn't it cute? Oh my God, the cry that he used to do was I would just stand there and shake and be like, I'm so sorry, it's not you. He's not used to the not having your mask on and all this sort of thing. And I just wanted to close myself off. I just wanted to be indoors, not go out, not see people, because I just had this crying child who also had some sort of anxiety and had a lot of sort of separation anxiety as well, because obviously he had been with me through lockdown. And I don't know if anyone can remember, but there's a lot of places in the UK that came out of lockdown, but where we were living in the time in Leicestershire, we were still in lockdown, and it was so difficult. I got to go to one baby group and then it all closed off again, and it was just a really, really difficult time. Thankfully, I did get some help from the doctors, and that I ended up being put on medication. I'm not afraid to admit that or say that. Did a bit of talking therapy, and I did get through it. But doing hair, it brought me back to life. I felt like me again. It wasn't just I'm a mum, because I really struggle with that, and I still do now. Like, I'm not just a mum, I am also Charlie. I am me. And I think sometimes when a mother, I mean, I don't know if I'm speaking for everyone, as I say, this is the Overshare Club, so I'm oversharing now, but some women are like, they're made to be mums, and they don't mind being mum all the time, all together, and like their kids are their life. And look, I'm not saying my child is not my life, like he is, but I'm also me, and I need to be me sometimes. I just need my own time with my friends. I need my own time with my husband, because if I'm not me sometimes, then I can't be the best mum to my son, because I would just go insane. And to some people that would be like, probably sounds absolutely awful, but for me personally, I need to be me as well as being mum. And that is what hair is for me. Hair is a place and a chance for me to be me. So I really feel like doing that hairdressing course, it just gave me a spark. It brought me back to life. I realised this is what I want to do. I don't want to be sat behind a desk. I want to be doing people's hair, being creative, talking to people all the time, and oversharing things, and just having these funny and emotional conversations, and just really getting to know more people as well. Like, I'm such a people person. I do like my own space as well. I'm sort of an extroverted introvert. So when I'm on my own, I like to be on my own, and I don't like to be disturbed. But if I've got company and I'm around a group of people, like, I will talk to you. Like, I don't care who you are, where you come from, anything like that. I almost feel like I've got not split personality. That's not the way I sort of interpret it, but I almost feel like that. Like, if anyone's seen the film Split and he's got all these different personalities, I feel like that sometimes, because I can be with this person who is quiet and they're sort of like softly spoken and that sort of thing. I can come, like, go down to that level, But then on the opposite hand, I can have someone straight after who is loud and bubbly and just a little bit nuts. And I can also be on their wavelength. Like, I can just dip in and out of all these different personalities. I don't know what you want to call it, but I can adapt. I can adapt to different people and different surroundings. And I think that's kind of got me through life, because I was very much like it in school. I never really had like that one set friend. I had lots of groups of friends. And when I was in school, I always thought, oh, when I leave school, I'm not going to have like many friends after this because I've not got that one set friend. Actually, it's really done me a favour, because I speak to a lot of people now who I knew at school, and I'll say, oh, do you still speak to so-and-so? And they're like, no. And like in school, they were like this. They were like their best of friends. And now they don't talk to them. Whereas I've got about 10, maybe more so, friends from school. Okay, I don't see them all the time, but when I do see them or I do speak to them, it's like I just seen them yesterday. I'm so grateful that I actually did have those different groups of friends, because I'm still friends with a lot of people from those different groups. And as I say, even if I've not seen someone in ages, I may not have seen someone for about 10 years, and I could still see them walking down the street, and I'll still go up to them and be like, hey, you okay? And just talk as if we were just at school. It's really sort of bizarre. I think I've got some sort of underlying undiagnosed things, but we won't talk about that because I don't want to sort of go into that direction, because I could be talking complete crap. But there's a few people that have said, are you sure? I'm just like, I have absolutely no idea. But if you know, you know. If you don't worry about it. So let's think, what else is some people ask me? Sorry, I feel like I really went off in a tangent there. I went off in all different directions, and I don't really know where I was sort of going with that. But someone did say to me, like, how did I get into hair, and what does hair mean to me? And a friend recently said to me, like, hair is your life, Charlie. Like, everything sort of around you involves hair, or like being creative. And it does, like, it consumes me, but not in a bad way. I just love it. I love all the different aspects of it, and it lights a fire in me. It gets me going, and I always sort of think, like, you don't have to be you don't have to be one person like fits like a certain niche. I know there's a lot of like hairdressers that have gone into like niches now. I don't really have a niche, I don't think. I mean, my niche is probably I'm an oversharer, and I like to laugh a lot, I like to talk a lot, and it's not always about the hair, it's about the atmosphere that is in the salon. And yeah, I mean, I offer all sorts of services. I offer like your typical full head colour, root touch up, foils. I love doing a balayage. Balayage is probably one of my favourite things to do. But I also do vivid colours. As I say, I do the hair extensions. I'm qualified in pretty much every hair extension method there is going. Not that I like to do them all, and I don't offer them all anymore. So now I just do nanos, weaves and tapes. I've dabbled in other hair extensions. I've done different courses. I like to do a grey blends now in colouring as well. Grey blending is another one of my sort of like favourite things to do. I'm no expert. I don't like doing baby lights, as in like make me full blonde but give me a whole head of baby lights. It's not me. Not me. I take too long doing them, and I'm not afraid to admit that to someone as well. I would rather tell a client straight and say, I'm not the person for you. I would rather recommend you to go to this person, because at the end of the day, it just saves a lot of backlash. Like if I'm going to get them in my chair to do a full head of baby lights, one, it's probably going to take me about 10 hours because I'm not the fastest foiler. And I don't think I'm going to get it right. So what's the point of me offering that service, being completely anxious about it, and then getting to the end, not being happy with the result? So then the client's then probably going to complain about it or want to come back in. I've got to redo it. It's just get rid of the ball ache. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. I don't like doing perming, so I don't offer it as a service. And that's like one of the main benefits, I think, of being self-employed is you get to choose which service you want to provide. I mean, obviously, I don't know if that's how it works with being employed in a salon as well. Like, do you get the choice? I don't really know. Maybe when I get someone that is employed by a salon in and is a guest, I can speak to them about it and see what they say. I'm trying to think what else someone asked me. Someone did say if I wasn't doing hairdressing, what would I be doing? Now, I don't know. I suppose, so when I went travelling in Thailand, that's when I went on a 3-week trip. I then came back, and as I said, I met one of my now best friends over there. And that same year, I went to go and visit her in Australia for 2 weeks and absolutely fell in love with Australia. I mean, I only went to Melbourne. We went to Sydney for a day, but stayed in Melbourne. I loved it. And it was just, they've got such a different way of life compared to the UK. In the UK, you live to work. You don't work to live. Now, we're all trying to get out of this narrative, and I don't know, the Australians just seem to have it right. And my sister lives over in Australia now, and even she says like that it's the work-life balance is completely different, and everyone just seems happier. And I could really see that when I went to Melbourne. So my dream at the time was when I got home, I was like, next year, that's it. I'm moving to Australia, and that is what I'm going to do. It didn't work out like that. I ended up getting together with my now husband, and he's got a son as well. So I'm also a stepmom. So obviously, moving to Australia was off the cards. I mean, at the time, we've both admitted it to each other now, but at the time, we thought it was just going to be like a few months fling. Obviously, that didn't happen because I'm married to the guy now. But he also loves travelling. So we did do a bit of travelling before having my son. But I suppose if I wasn't a hairdresser, wasn't married, didn't have kids or anything like that, I think I would I still be travelling the world? I don't know. I would want to try and travel as much as possible. I would probably work sort of as a remote job, but like in travelling. There's just something about travelling, like getting to know new cultures, new countries, and just seeing the way that other people live and eat. And there's just something about it. Like we've not got it all together in the UK. Sorry to say that, but we've not. There are other places in the world that you just go to and you think, yeah, they've got it right. I mean, me and my husband have always said, if we didn't have kids, we'd probably be living in Italy and just having a really sort of laid back life, just walking around little cobbled streets, sipping on Aperol Spritz? I don't even like Aperol Spritz, but just that calm life, chatting to people, going around to your neighbours, having dinner, and getting all the people in the street together having dinner. In our heads, that's where we're going to retire, Italy, I imagine. But yeah, that's probably what I would be doing if I wasn't doing hair. Or maybe I'd be an artist, like a painter. Now, I say this, I've only sort of the last couple of years got into painting. Ended up doing a random paint a pot class. It wasn't even a class, it was just you go and sit in a cafe and paint a pot whilst we were on holiday. and I loved it. I was like, oh, I quite like this. So I came home, I ended up buying air dry clay, a load of paint, and started having a go with it. Didn't really do much else with the air dry clay, but I liked the painting part, so I thought, okay, I'll buy some canvases, I'll start painting those. And I'm quite impulsive, so I ended up buying more paints, more canvases. Then I thought, okay, let's try some other different paints. So let's try watercolour paints. Fell in love with watercolour painting. So yeah, ended up getting like loads of watercolour paints. Like we have a kitchen cupboard that is just full of different painting and arts and crafts now. Once I get an idea in my head, especially a creative idea, I just think, yeah, let's do it. So I end up buying random shit. So I did buy a sewing machine the other day as well. I've had one go on it. I need to find out. I need to get someone in to show me how it works properly, because I've never done a sewing machine. I've always hand sewn. So I do need someone to come and help a girl out. But part of me was like, oh, I really want to start making my own clothes or upcycling clothes and that sort of thing. So I bought the sewing machine. It was actually off a client because I was telling her about it. And she was like, don't bother buying one. I've got one. You can buy it off me. So I thought, perfect. Before I'd even got it from her, I was on Hobbycraft and buying this, that and the other, all to go with it. And yeah, I've still not used it yet because I can't get the gist of it, so I need to get someone in to help me with it. But same with hair things as well. Like I love the editorial, like creative side of hair. So I'll see something and I'll think, I can do that. So I'll buy this, this and this and go to put it together. But 9 times out of 10, I don't always have the time. So I've got a lot of sort of creative things around the salon that are just sat, waiting to be used, waiting to be made into something. And one day I will. But for the time being, it's, yeah, finding the time to do it. I mean, I could be doing it right now, but I'm recording this instead because I thought, you guys, whoever's not listened to me before and is listening just now, you're thinking, who the hell is this mad woman? You're slowly starting to realise who this mad woman is now. I don't really know what else to say. I feel like I've really rambled on. If you've made it this far, bravo. Because yeah, I'm a rambler. I go off in different tangents. I go here, there, everywhere, and I get excited about things, so I do start talking about this, that and the other. But you can sort of see the kind of person I am now, or hear the type of person I am now, depending whether you're watching or listening to this. But that is basically a bit about me, or a lot about me, I should say. So yeah, if you have made it this far, thank you for listening to me waffle on. Hopefully now you do have a better idea of who I am, what this podcast is about, what I am like as a hairdresser as well, or just as basically who I am as a person. And hopefully you stick around for my upcoming episodes. I've got quite a few guests that will be joining me. Some are self-employed, some I think are employed, from all different places. Some names you'll probably know, some names you probably won't know. This podcast is just going to be filled with different people within the hair industry that they just want to talk. They just want to overshare. They just want to have a sit down and chit chat with little Miss Waffler over here, and hopefully overshare 1 or 2 things. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you all have a great day, and yeah.